Hello, welcome to Rise in Technologies. This is Harish. You are watching part 13 of Core Java video tutorial. In this session, we are going to learn about introduction of arrays and enhanced for loop. While writing some programs, you may encounter a situation where you need to declare lots of variables. Imagine you are writing a program that needs to input maybe 50 or 100 numbers from user, and you need to store them in different variables. So declaring 50 or 100 variables with different names and to maintain all these variables in a single program is a very tedious and painful job. So instead of declaring 100 variables with 100 different names, what a programmer can do, he can declare an array. So what an array is? Array is a collection of variables of similar type which is referred by a common name. That means you can declare 100 variables and all these 100 variables are going to share the same name. Okay, so array can be again declared of any type. An array may have one or more dimensions. So let's have a look at one-dimensional array. So a one-dimensional array is essentially a list of similar type variables. So to create an array, you first must declare an array variable of desired type using this syntax. First you need to specify the type, the name of the array variable, and then this array notation. Here this type determines what type of data this array will hold. For example, suppose I need to declare an array that holds integer type of information. So the following statement declares an array with the name month days. Okay. So the syntax is data type, name of array, and array notation. So this particular declaration declares month days as an array variable. But this declaration only declares an array reference variable, but no memory is allocated for the array. So to link this month days array variable with an actual physical array of integers, you must allocate memory using new operator and assign that memory to the array variable with the name month days. So this is the syntax. You can specify name of array variable equals new whatever type and the size of that array. Here this type specifies the data type of array that you are going to declare. This size specifies the number of elements in the array, and this array variable is the variable that is being linked to the declared array. So by declaring these two statements, after executing above statements, this month days array variable will refer to an array of 12 integers, and all elements in the array will be initialized to 0. Now let's have a look at the effect of these two statements. When I say int month days and array annotation, this statement declares a month days variable as an array variable. And then when I say new integer and 12, this line of code declares a physical array in the memory, and this array is going to have 12 elements. And after allocating memory to these 12 integer elements, the reference of this particular array will be assigned to this month days variable. So now this month days array variable is going to refer to this physical array of 12 elements in the memory. Remember that array in Java is actually zero-based array indexes. So each and every element of the array is going to have a unique array index, and that index begins from 0. So this is the index number of first array variable, this is the index number of second array variable, and so on. So this is called as zero-based array indexes. We have just learned that creating an array in Java is actually a two-step process. First, you need to declare a variable of desired array type, and second, you must allocate the memory that will hold the array values using new operator and then assign it to the array variable. But about two steps can be declared within a single line declaration, something like this. I can say integer month days, that's an array, equals new integer 12. So actually this statement is actually a combination of these two statements. First we are declaring an array variable, and then we are allocating memory for 12 integer variables. So these two statements can be combined something like this. So in this declaration we are declaring this month days as an array variable, and then we are allocating memory for 12 integer variables. So the effect of this line is as good as same uh, which is effect of these two lines. Okay, so once you have declared an array, you can access each and every array element on the basis of index. So you can access a specific element in the array by specifying its index within the square brackets. So we have just seen how to declare this array. Suppose I need to store value 31 at the 0th index of this month days array. So I can say month days of 0 equals 31. So this 31 value will be stored at 0th index. Similarly, if I say month days of 1 equals 28, so this 28 value will be stored at this particular array index, and so on. Let's have a practical look at this thing. So I'm going to create a class. Let's name it array demo. Let's declare an array, and that's an array variable. Now this declaration, we know that this is going to declare an array variable with this name, but no physical memory will be allocated for this array, and to allocate that memory I need to use new operator. So I can say month days equals new, and my type is integer, and I want to allocate memory for 12 integer variables. So this declaration will declare an array in the memory, and that array will be assigned to this month days variable. Even I can specify this array in single line, something like this. So int month days, that's an array variable, equals new integer 12. Now suppose I need to assign value to the each and every element of this month days array. So I can simply say name of the array and index number of the element, and suppose I want to store this 31 at the 0th position within this array. This 31 will be stored at this particular array index. Similarly, suppose I want to assign value to the each and every element. Okay. Rest elements will be remain 0, as I am going to assign only values to the first 5 elements. Now let's print the value from a particular element. Suppose I need to print the number of days in you can say April month. So I'm going to say system.out.println, and April has, I need to say January, February, March and April. So month days of 3 is going to hold the number of days in April month. Let's compile this program by pressing Ctrl 1, and let's run this program by pressing Ctrl 2. So it has displayed April has, I just say April has, I need to say April has 30 days. So again compile this and run this. So April has 30 days. So this is a very basic example of how to declare an array, how to assign values to the each and every element of the array, and how to access, or can say print the values from an array. Even I can declare an array by assigning some values while declaring that array. Suppose I need to declare this array variable, that's a variable, and I need to store these 5 values. Now look at this declaration. I have not said integer a array equals new into 5. I have just assigned comma separate values in a pair of curly braces. So this is an array, and we are assigning this array to this array variable a. And let's print all these values using the for loop. So I can say for integer I that begins from 0, I is less than or equals to 4. I know that this array has 5 values, and the last index of this array will be 4. So I just need to loop through 0th position to the 4th position in my array. That's why I have written this for loop. Now let's have a sysout statement and let's print a of I variable. So when the value of I will be 0, this a of I statement is going to print the value that's 10. In the second execution or second iteration of this for loop, this I will become 1. So this sysout statement is going to print a of 1, that's actually 20. So let's compile this and run this and look at the output. This for loop has displayed all the values that I have stored in this array. So this is another syntax where we can declare array. Now what if I change the size of this array? So the moment I have made changes in the array size, I need to change the remaining program. Wherever I have accessed this array using a loop, I need to change this 4 to the last index number, or you can say the last subscript of this array. So currently the last subscript of this array will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I need to say I is less than or equals 6. Now compile and run. So see this. Again, if I one more time change the size of array, I need to have some kind of maintenance in the remaining program. And this is again an error prone practice because I may forget to make changes in the for loop wherever I have used this array. So instead of making this for loop start from 0 and run up to a specific, I can say, hard-coded value, I can make use of a property within this array variable a. Remember that array in Java is actually an object, and this object has a property that is length. So this length property returns the size of this array. So what is the size of this array? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Currently this array is going to hold 5 integer. So the length of this array is going to 5. But as we know that array is indexed, array index actually starts from 0. So the last index of this array will be 4. So I need to say a dot length minus 1. Now again compile this and run this. So look at this, it has displayed all these 5 values. Now if I change the size or the length of this array, I really don't need to make any kind of maintenance within this for loop, as this for loop is going to start from 0 and will reach up to the length of this array minus 1 index number. Now let's compile and run. So look at this. So this is how we can access each and every element from the array. So we have just learned about what one-dimensional array is. Now we need to discuss about this loop that's called as enhanced for loop. Sometimes it is called as for each loop. So a for each style loop is designed to cycle through a collection of objects such as an array, and it is again strictly in sequential fashion from start to finish. So many times you may encounter a situation that you will have a collection of variables, objects. Actually Java has a distinct collection framework, and that collection framework has several collection classes. And if you want to visit each and every element of that collection, you can make use of this for each loop. Currently we have this array, and we know that this array is a collection of variables. So in order to access each and every element of this array, I can make use of this for loop, or you can say enhanced for loop. So the syntax of this enhanced for loop is, we're gonna write for, then type variable colon collection, and then body of this for loop. Here this type specifies the data type of variable that is going to represent each and every element of this collection, and this iteration variable is going to receive the element from this collection one by one from beginning to end. Let's see this thing in the slide. Suppose I have this array with the name ARR, and this array contains these 5 variables. So as per this syntax, for type variable colon collection, I have said for int element colon array. Actually, I'm gonna read this something like for integer element in array. So this for loop is going to iterate through this particular array using this element variable. So the first time when program will enter into this for loop, this element variable is going to represent array's zeroth element, that is 10. So the system.out.println statement, when this elements variable, it actually prints this 10. When the next execution of this for loop occurs, the same element variable is now going to represent the second element in your array. So this is how we can visit each and every element of this array using this for each loop. Let's see this thing in action. I have this array. Currently, I am accessing each and every array element on the basis of its index, but I don't want to use this indexed style to read values of this array. So instead of this, now I'm going to make use of an enhanced for loop. So I say int element in collection. So the name of my collection is A. So this for each loop, or you can say this is enhanced for loop, is going to loop through this collection using this elements variable. We have just seen that this first time when program enters into this for loop, this element variable is going to represent the zeroth element of your array, and for each subsequent execution of this for loop, this element variable is going to represent each and every element of your array strictly from beginning to end. So all I need to say is print this element. Now compile this and run this. Now look at this, it has displayed all the values from your array. And notice the difference. This for loop is not index based. I have not said that start this element from 0 and reach up to some particular index number. I have just said use this element variable to loop through this array variable A. Thank you. For more details, visit our official site, that's www.risentechnologies.in. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel.